lay off. So that wasn't easy. So it wasn't easy to lay off. People think that, oh, you're so evil, you're so cruel. But one thing about YouTube is that I realized the income is exponential. It grows exponential. I want to make sure that my family don't have to worry about money.
Alright, welcome back to HoneyMoneySG. This time round, I have Kelvin back with me from Kelvin Learns Investing. You all should know him by now. And you know that every year, I will have this interview session with him to go through like our annual highlights and stuff. Yeah, so I think the first question we should ask Kelvin is, Kelvin, how are you doing?
I'm great. I survived another year without being cancelled. I think that's great.
What do you live your year like that? Like you just don't want to be cancelled and then you can survive another year.
Yeah. I think it's the weird thing about FIRE, right, is that sometimes I find a very good lobang, and sometimes I don't know if that lobang is a legit lobang or not.
Oh, yeah.
Like, for example, recently there's the chocolate finance thing.
Chocolate finance.
Personally, I feel that it's legit. And when I share, everyone is like, hey, this one will crash or not? This one will die or not? I think everyone has PTSD from the Hodernot thing now.
Yeah.
From the whole crypto thing. Then recently, I also shared the whole Weibo $3,000 thing again. It seems too good to be true. Then after I share, I like, sure, this Weibo will run away or not. but yeah, so that's the thing. I know it's a good lobang. I want to share it. Then after sharing, when people comment too negatively about it, I would second guess myself. Yeah, so overall, still glad to be alive.
Yeah, so I think the thing about finance YouTubers is that we have a lot of responsibility. We are not like entertainment content creators. Suddenly, we just put one FY firm. People won't really care about it. But people hold us in high regard. Yeah. And we are very careful on how we promote things nowadays compared to the past. So I think the follow-up question to this is that, are you working harder now compared to 2022? Because I see so much more videos this year.
Actually, it's not so much more. So last year, I was making 4 videos a week. Then earlier this year, I said, I'm going to slow down. So I changed to 3 videos a week. Then second half of the year, I'm going to slow. Let's go back to 4 videos and let's go full speed. So as to your question, I think I'm still working as hard, still 70, 80 hours a week. But I think the main difference is that now I had more help. I hired a few editors to help me out. Though my own production rate has not increased, I'm not sure why. Probably some of the time went to the management side rather than the YouTubing side of it.
Yeah, that's what I realized. Because when you hire someone, it's not like you just throw 50% of your work to that guy. It's probably like you need to add in some of your management work to that guy also, which also takes up your time. So do you feel the same way?
Yeah, it's like last time I used to spend entirely 80 hours on YouTube. It's nice. 20 hours goes to management. I don't even know why I'm spending so much time on them. But I think that's what all bosses have to do. Or I'm just trying to be a fake boss. Well, that's what I'm trying to do to make everything rather smoothly and all this. It feels a lot more fun trying to manage people. That's what also.
So you like this kind of tempo compared to the past where you have to do everything yourself?
Yeah, it's like a slave driver,
Slave driver.
I pay you better do this. But it's not that feeling. It's also like trying to give them the experience that they need. Obviously, they work for me. They are also looking for experience.
Yeah.
So I try to expose them to new stuff. Do you want to try this out? If they say yes, then I'll just throw to them. Otherwise, I will just throw to the gun.
If you are affected by the TD Ameritrade closure in Singapore, then this may be the right time for you to get a Moomoo SG Universal account. Moomoo SG now supports ACATS transfer in. Only with ACATS, you can transfer in your US stocks, options, and cash balances, the first local brokerage to do so. How to transfer positions from TD Ameritrade Singapore to Moomoo SG? Step 1. Click Accounts, go to Transfer and select Transfer Stock In and select US Market. Step 2. Select TD Ameritrade, enter your account number with TD Ameritrade and upload your statement with TD Ameritrade. Step 3. Choose full or partial transfer. Select full transfer for all your assets from TD Ameritrade SG. Confirm your account number and statement with TD Ameritrade. Lastly, click Submit and wait for review and in-app notification. Do know that it usually takes 5 to 7 business days to process and transfer. Terms and conditions and other fees apply. Good news is Moomoo will subsidize any transfer in fees up to 200 Singapore dollars and get 1 free Apple share when your transfer assets are valued more than 5,000 Singapore dollars and maintain 30 days average daily assets of more than 5,000 Singapore dollars. So use my referral link down below or scan this QR code right here to get your Moomoo SG Universal account today. Now, having said that, I remember that last time you had an editor, right?
Yeah.
If you're comfortable to share what's the status of that.
So that was, I hired her back in October. But halfway through, I realized that I'm paying her too high. My pay to her was too high. So the story was like, when I was looking for an editor, I went to Job Street. I typed in video editor roles. Then I see the average pay there was about 3,000. I see MediaCorp was paying editors 3,000. So I said, okay, let's hire her with this pay lah. Halfway through, I realized that MediaCorp is sponsored by the government. That's why they can afford to pay so high. Then the other thing is that I realized the income wasn't increasing even though I was getting an editor. So in a sense, my overall net income is revenue minus off whatever I paid out, has gone down because I paid this editor. And it feels like there's not much new value coming out from there. So after 6 months, I have to lay off. So that wasn't easy. I have to first convince myself that I have no other choice. Then I have to talk to her, do you want to work with us? Do you want a lower pay? Then when she said no, I said, okay, no, then we have to just part ways. So it wasn't easy to lay off. People think that, oh, you're so evil, you're so cruel, but bro, there's a lot of emotions involved, especially if it's your first employee. It's like your personal flat, but she's not my flat. So it's the first thing, and you felt that you have done her wrong because you were promising her this promised land to go together, but in the end I have to lay her off. So that was unfortunate. Then after a while I have to edit my own videos for like I think 3-4 months until eventually I couldn't take it anymore. Then this time I hired 4 freelance editors at 1/4 of the cost, and the editing was actually much higher quality. So I think it was beneficial to me in the end. I don't know. Yeah, I hope so lah. So in the end, I managed to save money, I managed to get better at this, and not so much headache lah, because I don't have to worry about their livelihood lah. Because for freelancer, you don't have to do, then I find another one.
Yeah, I think that's just business, right?
Yeah.
If your company is not doing well or your employees are not giving value, I think you have to make the decision as the manager and the boss of the company to do difficult decisions. Yeah, this is exactly what we see in the corporate layoffs right now. I think moving on, I think last year we also talked about Tesla, which is a very hot topic on your channel, right? Because last year and the previous year in 2021, Tesla was like the hype stock of everything. This year we see much less volume of news on Tesla. So we also know that you are a huge proponent of Tesla being a big part of your portfolio. And we also talk about rebalancing that portfolio to make it more defensive, less relying on one stock. So how is that going right now, the status?
So to give context, last year I was like 85% into Tesla. Not because I want, just because Tesla went up so much. Thinking through it, after speaking to various people like the book Salaryman, Chris, and all the smart investors basically, I realized that I don't have to depend on just one stock. Because for Tesla, the good thing is that it has high growth. Everyone is betting on it. If it goes up, great, you become a rich boy or rich girl. But if it doesn't go up, I think my entire retirement is screwed already. So that's the thing that I want to avoid. Even if there's like 1% chance that it won't do well, I want to avoid that 1% chance. Just because I have other means of getting rich without relying on the stock. So that's why I started to diversify into other stocks other than Tesla. So I'm proud to say that my Tesla holdings has dropped from 85% down to 67%.
Wow, that's a huge drop when considering.
But I wanted to be like 30%, but 30%, halfway there.
Still quite a long way to go.
SPY holdings, S&P 500 holding is now like 10%.
10%.
Yeah, I'm planning to increase it all the way to 70%. Something like that. Somewhere there.
Yeah. So by the time you'll see Kelvin having SPY, S&P 500 to 70%, probably we have few more rounds of interview already. Okay. Back to this question on the investment and portfolios and stock holdings. We see that the market is now in very turbulent times, especially with the war going on in Israel. I think as audiences, we are so curious, what is your current actions towards the market and all that? Because we know you are very active in this kind of...
What's so much... So if you check my YouTube content, I've nowadays seldom talk about US market ranking. The reason is because I seldom look at it anymore. Like last year, I was like, every Fed meeting, I came out with one video.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
So that one, I was paying super close attention, but I think it isn't good for mental health. Not to say that my mental health is basically at zero now. 100 minus 0. 0 minus 100 is still 0. I don't think it's productive for me to look so closely at the market. So to your question, how am I reacting? The good thing about SPY is that I'm just throwing money, then just praying that it will go well in the future. Versus something like Tesla, which requires much more attention to it. Like it's Elon Musk popping shit today. It's the China company shutting down again. China factory shutting down again. So I'm paying less attention to it, and I actually focusing on growing the YouTube channel, which I think can actually give higher returns to me in the end.
I agree also, because this is also why I started on passive investing, because I need to have time for other things instead of looking at the market. So I'm not sure if that is for the same experience.
The same. So instead, I started looking at, I started focusing on like credit cards, becoming his competitor, banks, even chocolate finance. This kind of robust that they can actually benefit people more and benefit myself more.
But having said that, you realize that a lot of people subscribe to you because of those market news video that you made, right? And now that you are maybe pivoting a little, do you have anything to address to this group of people?
It's fine. Eventually, when I feel like it, I will go back again. See what.
Take it as it goes. I think as content creators, sometimes we also need to discover our own interests, and it may change over time. So this is just what Kelvin is doing right now. Okay, so next question is on FIRE. And you guys should know us quite well in the FIRE community. And we both have a goal of $1 million for financial independence, retire early, or Ikigai. And just want to ask you, what's your update on that number right now in terms of percentage-wise, and what are you going to do about it?
I like Chris, who has been interviewed by Channel News Asia for how many times? 2 times.
2 times.
Oh, I'm not a FIRE ambassador. For me, my goal to $1 million, it was originally 42 years old. That was before I started YouTube. When I started YouTube, it dropped to 39. When Tesla was choking, it actually dropped all the way to 35. When Tesla crashed, I moved it back up to 39 again. But one thing about YouTube is that I realized the income is exponential. It grows exponential. So I'm 36. I believe 36. I'm 36 years old now. I'm quite sure that I will hit 1 million by next year. Just because YouTube income is exponential, and I have bigger plans for YouTube than just creating videos. The hint is options course. I'm planning to start an option course next year, and that will definitely propel me past 1 million. Assuming I'm not cancer yet.
Okay. So we are still on the topic of not get cancer. We get to keep our jobs. Still provide value to your. But what exactly is a percentage? So because you say like, for previously you say it's 40 years old, and now you're saying that by 37 you will hit that. And so what is the current percentage we're looking?
Percentage is right now it's about 42%. In stocks, 10% in cash. Because all my money is dropped back in my company account. I will cash up. There's also quite a sizable chunk in money market funds in SSB, about 10% now.
Okay.
So if we just look at pure investment alone, 42, cash around 15. So it's about 57%. Somewhere there.
Okay.
Just slightly higher than Chris. But considering the age, I'm actually behind Chris.
We all run our own races, right? There may be some people who even hit $1 million at birth. You also wouldn't know. So I think the thing about this kind of retire early financial portfolio thing is, if you compare to other people, there will always be someone better than you, and there will always be someone who is in a worse state than you. So just run your own race. And coming back to this 1M, right? Because I know what I want after 1M. Like, I want to reduce my churn rate. I want to work less. But what about you? What's next after the 1 million thing?
Well, honestly speaking, I have no idea. So here's something that I made up, that I try to convince myself. I want to work lesser. That's what I tell myself, but I don't know if I can do it. Because every time I go for holiday, right, I feel very itchy. I want to go back to work. So I check my Telegram, check my YouTube, check the comments, all this kind of thing. I think I like working. I like earning money. Then the second thing is that after 1 million, that's for myself. I want to make sure that my family don't have to worry about money. So that's for my wife. After my wife, I make sure that my kid has enough money. So basically, my entire family must have enough money. So that's my grand goal. Anything further than that is a bonus to me. I don't know if I will stop. If I will continue working as hard or stop working altogether. It's hard to tell. Because with this momentum, I know that I'm happy doing it. And at the same time, I'm not happy doing it because I'm working too hard.
Yeah, I also think you're working too hard from my point of view.
Probably the options cost is the correct answer because like I can work lesser but produce higher impact to people who need it. Like imagine if I just share what's the best top savings accounts, it's probably just the 20k people who have watched the video. And I think half of them already watched Chris' video, so they already know what's going on. But for options, I think people can directly earn an income from it and probably even quit their job. Probably even quit themselves altogether. So I think that has a high impact than just credit card videos and just savings accounts videos.
Yeah. Okay, next one, let's talk about retirement in Malaysia, because you all may have watched my video that I'm moving to Malaysia and retire in Malaysia, all that stuff. You all also may have seen Kelvin's video on why he does not choose to retire in Malaysia. And yeah, he has mentioned in several podcast videos that he's not going to do that in Malaysia. And the main reason is because he have other places, other choices. So would you say that you already have a place in mind, or are you trying to retire in Singapore? What's your grand plan for choosing a retirement?
Definitely not Malaysia. I've stayed there half of my life. I stay in double-story house, which is bigger than the HDBs here. But the thing is, like, back there, there's not much connection really, probably other than my parents. So chances I won't be going back because I already converted to Singaporean. My entire family is Singaporean now. Majula, Singapore. But as to where I will go, it's super hard. Like for you, you are able to do that. Like if you just look at all the digital nomads like Jean, Danny, or even you, right? None of them has a kid yet. So this means there's nothing tying you guys down. But for me, I have a kid. So if I go back to Malaysia, I have to find another new kindergarten for her. We learn everything all together. Not that it's hard, it's just that I feel it's very disruptive. But now I've really no plans just because I'm tied down. But imagine if I don't have family and all this, I would definitely move elsewhere.
And where's the elsewhere though?
I never thought about it. I don't have the privilege to think about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you listed out Japan, Taiwan, Bali even. And all these are Asia countries. Do you have like plans outside of Asia Pacific? Is it ideal?
And like this frog, there's never been to much places. And most I've been to this Finland, the Europe part, Finland. I guess that place is good, but I don't know if I want to live there long time or not. So yeah, I have no answer to that.
Okay, so maybe if you all have good suggestions on where else to retire other than Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, all these countries that you know, write down in the comment section, right, where you think is a good place to retire. Okay, I also noticed that right now in 2023, you started to focus on Telegram group, because in the previous year, I never seen you active on Telegram. So could you walk us through what happened for you to inspire you to start managing this Telegram, and how is your experience right now?
Actually, I started with Discord. That right when I started 2020. And the thing is that Discord, not many people using it. When I see Chris doing it already, I'm like, oh, so Telegram is the answer. Everyone is using Telegram. All the smart people, Mr. Lu, Seth, Chris, all the smart people are in Singapore. So that's why I moved over. That's why I become more and more active. Right now, my Telegram, a bit weird. Everyone is treating that as a help desk.
Yeah, it is. I'm also in that group. So every day I see these questions like help desk.
Yeah. When I'm free one day, I will just do a chat GPT for that thing. It's definitely doable. Yeah, that part right now is just a Q&A list for people to ask questions.
But do you feel it difficult to manage such groups on the micro level? Because that before Telegram, maybe people, they want to contact you, they need to go through like several channels, and now they are just one message away from Kelvin. Do you feel that it's a little bit too close for comfort?
I'm used to answering this kind of questions that people are lazy to Google. If I feel like it, I will answer, otherwise I will not answer.
Yeah.
I mean, even for your channel, you also try to answer every now and then, but not every question.
Yeah.
I think once you go past I think 4 or 5k members, the people inside there he has his own society going on. They will just answer themselves.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if I see wrong answers, I'll just go in and point it out. Yeah, nothing much going on there.
Okay. I think the thing about communities is that you gather like-minded people, and there may be people even smarter than yourself as the group leader. And then you get these people, they will help you out. And sometimes maybe give you some new ideas on content creation.
Yeah, I know, right? Like for your channel, you have so many lobangs that come out from there.
Yeah, some things that I never even knew about. And it's all from my Telegram group. You should join the Telegram group right now at t.me/HoneyMoneySG.
Yeah, so you go there, you get news faster than even Chris videos. Yeah, so it's a lot faster there.
Yeah, because videos take a long time to produce. some of you may not know, it may take like from 3 days to 1 week, depending on the production schedule. So Telegram really is the best way to go lah. Okay, is there something new about your business or your YouTube or content creation journey that you started out this year that is different, that you just want to try things out this year?
My new hires. So I have 4 editors right now. 2 from Singapore, 1 from India, 1 from Philippines. Then I also got 2 content writers recently. And I'm still hiring a social media manager, / helper. And you guys may think that it's very very impressive, this kind of thing. But if you think about it, actually we have been outsourcing a lot of things in our life, right? We go to restaurants, we are outsourcing the cooking part of it. We have to travel the world, we are outsourcing to the train driver, this kind of thing. So hiring someone is just to help you make money also. It's just a natural part of it, but it's fun to teach people what you already know. Right, I know a lot of people who wants to become a video editor, but they lack the experience. So why not just get paid while working for others?
Yeah, and I think that working for you will be a good brand name. Like you say, I've edited videos for the leading finance channel in Singapore. I think that's quite a good experience that maybe you all should go and apply to be a video editor for mine as well if I'm hiring. Yeah,
he's hiring.
Yeah, so coming back to that, because we know you are a very frugal person, low spender, right? And we know that you don't like to buy new things or pay additionally for stuff. How do you get over your barrier for paying for such services? Because I remember in my past 2 annual interviews, we are still using the same tripod and probably the same phone got a bit of upgrade. And I told him to buy a camera 2 years ago, and now he's still using his phone camera. So how do you got over your hurdle for buying things and paying for stuff?
I don't say.
Don't know.
As long as it works, I will continue doing.
Okay.
Probably FOMO. When I see Chris having such a nice gear, I also want to upgrade a bit.
Yeah.
I think the other thing is if you run a private limiter, right, you will know that the tax is 17%. So I think that's the other thing that will drive me to spend a lot more. Rather than give the government 17%, why not just spend the money and get myself new gear?
Yeah.
And rather than give the government the money, because it's a tax deductible thing.
Yes.
A camera, you wish to do this kind of things like because if it works, I don't have to upgrade. Right? You see, I've wished almost 100k using all the old gears. So it works.
Okay.
Unlike Chris, who has a lot of new gears. They're going so fast.
These gears have been there for 2 years, by the way. Yeah, but anyway, I think the thing about people don't see is that when you are a private limited business, when we're talking about tax 17%, it also means that whatever you buy is at a 17% discount. That's better than any credit card discount, gift card, and everything, which is why we incorporate our own companies to do that kind of taxation stuff. Okay, so come to the last question. Since you're coming close to your 4th year soon, are there any different advice that the usual people don't talk about in terms of content creation, YouTuber, people wanting to start out?
My advice is always if you want to start, just start because you want to share, not because you want to earn money, because the earning money part may not even happen at all. Like for Chris and for me, I don't know about Chris, at least for me, I was lucky enough to get a lot of things happen at the same time that allowed me to grow so fast. So 2020, COVID year, which allowed me to save 2 hours of traveling time, maybe use a bit of office time to do work. Then at the same time, all the robo-advisors, all the brokers came in at that time. Plus, the market was in a huge bull run. Then when you add up all of these things together, naturally, if someone talk about it, everyone will try to watch it. So that's why my channel grew very fast at that time. If I start my channel now at 2023, none of this exists. Probably Chris will have been 100k, 150k channel. So I always start with the goal of sharing. So the other day, I also spoke with the dollars and cents boss, Timothy, handsome guy. So he told me that if you want to start a channel, rather than trying to start for yourself, try to intern with someone who already has experience in all this field. For example, like me, Chris, or always that Josh Tan guy. So because they all know this, they all have the knowledge of how to do it already. If you can give them help, they'll give you the experience to fast track your whole YouTube journey.
Yeah.
And you get paid. Yes. Basically, you work for them as an intern or whatever. And in return, you get all the knowledge that other people who are trying to start now don't have. So that's a major advantage.
I also realized this thing about us locals in Singapore is that when we do everything, we try to ask for returns. Maybe the biggest return that you could get from helping out people, the more established channels, is that you get to see how they work. You get to know their processes, and that will save you so much time in trying to kickstart a social media channel or kind of thing, even in TikTok or stuff. So yeah, it also applies to any other form of industry. Like if you're in real estate, maybe you could shadow a very established real estate agent to see how they do things. Sometimes don't always think about the outcome, think about how you can learn through this journey. And it's a shortcut for you. It's like a personal course for you to upgrade yourself. Yeah, so this is also my advice to aspiring content creators if you are one.
Yeah, definitely possible. Like imagine if you offer Chris to edit his videos for free. You think Chris will want, meh?
Yeah. One. You can try also.
Yeah. So just take the chance lah. Yeah.
I think this is our 3rd year. Hopefully we also still survive till the 4th year that we can come back and do this interview again. And yeah, thank you, Kelvin, for really answering us honestly about these questions that some of these answers may not even be on his channel. So that's why you all must subscribe to both of our channels to see what's going on. Yeah, thank you, Kelvin, for coming to my show. Any final words for my audience?
Subscribe to Chris. Check out his Telegram. Use his affiliate link.
Yeah, especially very much of today. Thank you.